Alright, welcome back everybody to Operation Tirpitz. This is July 1942, Turn 13, Japan. Before we get started, there are a couple of housekeeping items to take care of. First off, the Subsquillion wanted the British infantry that was in Transjordan to walk over into Lower Egypt. He sent that right after his British turn, but it just got missed. So just wanted to make sure that was taken care of before his turn comes up. Over in the Pacific, the USA bought 11 subs and placed them all into P-25, but only 10 of those could go into P-25 due to only having 2 major shipyards, and so one of them gets placed into P-13, which isn't going to be really big of a difference at all, but just wanted to get that covered. Other housekeeping items, Spitfire spent 6 IPPs to repair the factory completely in Oral Kursk, so I just forgot to remove the damage markers, so we'll take care of that. And then also, this is a bigger one. There was 4 IPP spent by the CCP to build a railroad into Turkestan. However, the CCP, while it's a minor power, is not able to build railroads as part of its build sheet. If we go down here, we can see CCP has a minor power. It's only these 5 things, and 2 of them are only if they have a supply path to Soviet zones, and it's only as we see here when CCP is a major power that they are able to buy railroads. So that doesn't mean that railroad is not present. It means the CCP does have 4 monies left over. Haven't heard back from Spitfire if he would like to do anything else between his call and turn, whether he would like to change some of his Russian builds to have that railroad be built, and if whether he'd like to spend any of his CCP money on anything. So still waiting to hear back from that, so that's likely going to be a housekeeping video, part of housekeeping later on. For right now though, those decisions don't really affect anything that I'm doing as Japan this turn. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my turn and wait for those. And then one final thing of housekeeping. Spitfire USSR did use the strategic rocket that it got for its tech objective to attack this railroad on the border of North Caucasia with Transcaucasia. He rolled a 4, but railroads take a max of 1 damage if it's normal terrain, or 2 damage if it's like mountains, such as this border. So instead of 4 damage being on this railroad, it's only 2. So I think that has all of that covered. So with that being said, we'll hop right into Japan. We rode tech on Dice Maiden again, rode improved construction and large ship construction. Rode a 7 for large ship construction, which was unfortunate. But we did roll a 9 for improved construction. So that is now at stage 3. And maybe come turn 14, Japan can actually have a completed tech this game. Would be nice. But, it is what it is. So we'll go over to buys. As you can see here, I've already placed all my Japanese buys. Japan had 85 since the British sub was not able to successfully raid. So with that 85, Japan bought 4 militia and a militia upgrade for 10, bringing it down to 75. Started construction on a major shipyard in Tokyo for 5 IPP. I'll go ahead and place that just so that I don't forget. So that brought us down to 70 to spend. Oops, I should not have deleted that. There we go. Bought a fighter to bring us down to 65 monies. Bought a marine to bring us down to 61. And then bought 8 destroyers at 7 each. That comes out to 56. Where did my extra $5 go? Did I do the math wrong on this? Alright, so I was at 85. Let me redo this. Sorry, I thought I would save time, but I have instead wasted it. Alright, so 4 militia and a militia upgrade is 10. The major shipyard is another 5. The fighter brings us down to 60. Alright, so yes, that was all. I did correctly spend all of my money. The marine is down to 56, and then that's 7 times 8, which is 56. So I just miscounted while saying the buys out loud. Anyway, that's the Japanese buys. We'll go into the rest of the Japanese turn. So we'll start off with combat moves. Japan has a few combat moves to make this turn. So the Marine in southern Iran is going to attack Punjab. And it's going to be joined by the medium tank in Maharashtra and the medium tank in southern Iran. And both of those medium tanks, if able, are going to blitz into Benares. And they will be joined by the regular infantry and the motor infantry that are in Calcutta. Over here, in Hunan, 3 infantry and an artillery are going to hop on some transports, come down into P50, and all 4 of those units are going to be amphibiouusly assaulting Mindanao. I butchered that. Apologies. So, I'm going to roll the dice and hope this militia doesn't get a hit on round 1. Other combat moves for Japan. Both of the infantry in Sinshi are going to attack Singhai. And they're going to be joined by the 4 regular infantry and the mountain infantry that are in Szechuan. They are also going to be joined by the 2 cavalry that are in Buryatia. Those 2 cavalry are going to use their first movement point to move into central Mongolia, and they are going to ignore the mountains, and then they're going to use their second movement point to go into Singhai. Up here, there are no other combat moves, and the seaplane is going to raid this convoy line once more, and we're going to roll the dice and have the submarine in P-72 raid as well. So, oops, copied the wrong thing. And I somehow deleted the raider marker. Okay. Alright. Okay, so let's get all the combats. So we will start off with our rating. So I'll get a D2, or a D12 rather. Bring it down to the sub on P-72. And we'll get our 2 D6s. As always, Japan's going to be on the left, British is going to be on the right. And we'll roll this, and really just hope that we don't get our sub killed. Alright, so we were successful in not getting our sub killed, and the result of the rating is there's no damage on the line, since the Japan die gets +2, but the British die gets +3. So that's successful. That's what we wanted, mainly for the sub to stay alive. We will go ahead and do the seaplane rating. So the seaplane gets +1 on the left, and the British die on the right gets +3. And since it's a seaplane and not a submarine, it does not face the anti-submarine warfare defense roll. Right, so that is a 0 damage on that convoy line as well, which is to be expected. Alright, next we will do the amphibious assault on Mindanao. So for round 1, this is a mountain territory, so all 3 Japanese infantry are rolling at 1, and the American militia is rolling at 2. Oof. So the American militia did hit, which means we gotta kill 2 of our Japanese infantry. Luckily for us, though, one of our infantry did hit as well, so we are at least taking the territory, albeit with 1 more casualty than I would have liked, but we'll take it. So Japan will move up 1 on the income chart, and the USA will move down 1. Next, we will do the attack into Shanghai. So Japan has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regular infantry rolling at 1, mountain infantry rolling at 2, and both cav are rolling at 2 as well. So 2 militia for the KMT, 6 regular infantry, and a mountain and 2 cav for the Japan. Right, so the KMT scores 0 hits, and the Japanese get 1 hit. So we will delete 1 of the militia, and we will roll for round 2. The KMT missed, and so did all of Japan. So we will roll for round 3. And Japan got the last hit it needed, and the KMT missed. So we will take Shanghai without casualty. And lastly, we will do the rolls in India. So first, we'll do Punjab. So Japan has the Marine attacking at 2, and both tanks attacking at 6 against the defending militia at 2. Alright, so Japan got the hit it needed, and the FEC militia missed, so Punjab is conquered, and the tanks do get to blitz into Banaras, which is the probably most interesting combat out of all these. We'll see how this goes. The British defenders will get 4 die at 4, the Japanese attacker will get 2 die at 2, and 2 die at 6. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so the British get 2 hits, and the Japanese only get 1. Unfortunate. Okay. I'm assuming the Gurkhas are going to be the last, and then it's going to be these 2 infantry that are there. Okay. We have equal number of pips, but the British have an additional body. Ugh. Let me... You know what? This is probably a bad move, but we'll just press, see what happens. Okay, sometimes fortune does favor the bold. So 2 British infantry are dead, and both Japanese tanks survive round 2. And we will press round 3. Alright, so 1 hit on each side. So 1 Japanese medium tank does get killed, but the last FEC Gurkha gets deleted as well. And so Japan will move up another income on the income chart, and the FEC will move back down to 0. The Anzac income tracker is currently at 0. I don't actually know what it's supposed to be. I know it's supposed to at least be 6. Don't know if Subscolian saved any money from his last turn or not. he bought an airborne, so he would have spent at least 3 of the money that he spent. That's probably a housekeeping item. I trust him to know how much money he actually is supposed to have. Anyway, so that is the end of the Japanese combat moves. So overall, happy with those. So now we'll do some non-combat movement. The Japanese forces in Russia are going to consolidate into Britannia, and with 2 strategic rail movement, the 2 tanks that are in Hunan are going to rail all the way up to Britannia as well. The three of the infantry that are in Hunan are going to walk down into Kwangtung. And they're going to be joined by the Japanese artillery. The final infantry there is going to hop on the transport. It's going to come down into P50, and it's going to disembark into British Malaya. One of the remaining transports in Nanking is going to strategic naval move 1, 2, 3, 4, and go into port into Maharashtra. The other one is going to use the last 2 remaining strategic naval movements that Japan has to go 1, 2 into P16, pick up the Marine from Tokyo, and then come 3, 4, 5 into Kwangtung. It's going to go into port, and the Marine's going to disembark into Kwangtung itself. Okay. All 3 of these transports that are in P50 are going to go into port in into Luzon and the Visayas, probably. I'm going to double check that just to make sure that there's nothing that can reach that, but for now, for the purposes of the video, we're going to say they're in port in the upper Philippine islands, I guess. Okay, the seaplane that is on map in P50 is coming off map and is going into Formosa. Since our sub survived raiding in P72, we can do that and still prevent the British from getting their +2. So that's what's happening there. The 3 planes that are in Hong Kong are taking off, and they're flying 1, 2, 3, 4 into P16. Attack bombers are going to stay there and just go on to are going to land on the carriers. The fighter is going to land using its 5th movement point in Honshu. And it's going to be joined in Honshu by the fighter that is in Tokyo. The 2 submarines in P15 are coming over into P16 and joining the rest of the fleet. I think that's got all of my non-combat moves done. Just double checking to see if I notice anything that looks off, but I think that's got them all. And so with that being done, we will go ahead and place our buys. Alright, so the fighter is being built in Tokyo. 5 of the destroyers are being built in P16, and they are joining the Japanese fleet. The other 3 destroyers are all being built in P15. The militia upgrade is going to be in Maharashtra. The Marine is going to be built in Annam Tonkin. And the 4 militia, one each, is going to be built on Sumatra, Borneo, and Java. And the final militia is going to be built on New Guinea. So let's get the buys. So now all that's left is collecting the Japanese income. And so Japan is going to collect 72 plus its 14 in bonus income for having Chinese Coast, and then there's other 4 of the 5 of these other ones. So Japan will collect 86 in total, keeping pace with our friend Germany. And so that will be the end of the Japan turn, and we will pass it over to Subscolian for the British and the Free French turn.